Well, hello everyone. This is Mrs. Quinn. I don't know if any of you went to Gretchko and had me or recognize my voice, but I was a kindergarten and first grade teacher for years at Gretchko. And currently, I am an instructional coach with a focus in science for West Bloomfield schools. I mainly focus on elementary, but I do a little bit with middle school and high school. So I am a teacher that supports teachers, and I have taken a big interest in Apple Island. I've got some meetings right now, so I couldn't actually come to your class to talk to you before we go there on like a little field trip. So I decided to make this video, and I wanted to talk to you a little bit about Apple Island and give you a little bit of background and a few things to think about. So these are some pictures that I took. I went in the summer, and currently, Apple Island is in the middle of Orchard Lake. It's about between 33 and 37 acres of beautiful land. There's no electricity. Um, it does have like some trails. I'll give you a little history in a bit. I just want to first jump right into this. So, this is me right here with the sunglasses, and I'm on my way to the island. This is Christy Fourthhand. She is a wealth of knowledge about the island. She's a volunteer and just knows a lot about Apple Island. So currently, there are two pontoon boats. This is a picture on the right of the two pontoon boats. They were given to the district, I believe, by the Optimist Club over 50 years ago. They do have like a newer motor. No one really knows how new it is, and no one truly knows how old the boats are. Um, they're not in the best shape. That will be the boat we're taking. So you'll be able to see. I'll be with you. Um, but in the middle, you can see what they did was they took out all of the seats and they put in like these wood benches. So typically, what happens is the bus driver picks up the second graders from their elementary school, and the bus driver is also insured on the boats. So the bus driver is the boat driver. And then they take half the class, let's say like 12 students with a few chaperones, to the island, and then they come back. And then the second boat comes and takes the other 12. So these will be the boats we take, so we can take a good look at them. The island is absolutely beautiful. So right now, our district has the second graders go. I'm assuming a lot of you went when you were in second grade. Every second grade in the district goes in the spring, and there's a big focus on the history. And they do a really great job. They have docents on the island, and they talk about the history and just going on a boat ride and being surrounded by the beautiful trees and nature is just in itself a great thing to do for those second graders. My interest is making it more of a science experience also, and I would also like more students than just second graders to go. So a little bit about these pictures. So these are the steps. They just put in these steps. That's the middle picture. When you first kind of go onto the dock, you walk up these steps. There are trails. You can see on the right, there's kind of like some trails. And it is cleared by our like maintenance people. They kind of, I think once a year, they go and they kind of trim a little bit and kind of check out the island, what's needed. At times there is vandalism, and at times there is a safety concern. People do go on the island and they shouldn't. West Bloomfield does own the island. So it's technically not really open to the public, but sometimes people do go. On the left, you can see the sun shining through. So I just wanted to give you a little idea about the island. I gave your teacher this link to the Greater West Bloomfield Historical Society. So there's a museum on Orchard Lake Road, and the museum has some things from the museum and more information about it. But the overview of the island. Yeah, let's see. So right here it's saying that it's 37-acre island. So it's huge. It really is. It's open to the public, I think, a few times a year for like group tours. Other than that, it is owned by West Bloomfield now. And some of the history you can read through it later at another time. The main thing I want to get to though is the Native Americans lived on the island and they had gardens and still no electricity or anything. Um, this right here is kind of interesting where they're thinking that Chief Okemos, he said, I was born in Michigan near Pontiac on an island in a lake. I was 30 years old when I left the place I was born. So they're thinking that he was maybe born there. But after that, it looks like James Galloway owned it. It was first purchased in 1827. And then I believe he gave it to like his daughter. Then next, the Dow family owned it. And then John Coates. Then what we know most about is the Campbells. So I believe it was Caroline Campbell and her husband. I know that the church, there's the Presbyterian church that's still kind of near there. Um, I know that they kind of had like a church on the island, and then they use it as like a vacation home. And then after the Campbells were the Wards, and the Wards, it says right here, the island basically was given to the West Bloomfield School District before she died in 1970. So what's really neat is on the island, just last year, they put this plaque right here because Apple Island is part of the historical society, or it's like, let's see, it's in the National Register of Historic Places. So see this award or rock or plate, whatever we should call it here, plaque, excuse me. It is on the island. You'll see it right after you get off the boats. This is on the island, and this is kind of like the basement of a home that was there. It's pretty cool. There's some wells that are on there. Other than that, it's not much. It's just really kind of just like paths and just nature. Here's a class going. We are going to be wearing these orange life jackets, just like you see in this picture. Okay, let me go back to the questions I have. So basically, no one has really taken a huge interest in the island. And for years, it's just really like the second graders go. It's really hard for me to get some information about even like there's no funding really from the district for the island. We just use the boats that were kind of, donated. Maintenance does help out like once a year. There's really no plans. So this is kind of like an exciting time in a way too, because I really reached out to your class, to your teacher, because I need people, students like you, that are innovative thinkers that would just give some ideas, maybe help do some research to really make this more than it is. So, here's some things I want you to think about. My number one goal would be to get an outdoor learning space, basically an area where classes when they're there could like gather maybe in a circle, I'm not sure, kind of like to sit down and the teacher could talk with them. There really isn't one. There really isn't a place to like sit down and have a class gather. So I'm not sure how or where or when or who. Um my only idea, I want to show you when we get on the island, there's this huge tree that fell down, and it happens to be near like a clearing. And so I don't know if we can maybe use that tree to like cut like stumps